Hello. I want to take a few minutes of your time and show you how I search the databases at Tarleton to get the best results of your PICO question. Starting out, let me show you the PICO question I will be using. In persons over the age of 65 residing in nursing homes with stage 3 pressure injury, that's my population. I want to find out if silver impregnated dressings heal as well as usual care, which is more than likely hydrogel dressing or something along those lines. And I'm looking at improved healing time, less than 2 weeks. So my question itself is, in persons over the age of 65 living in nursing homes who have stage 3 pressure injury, do silver impregnated dressings improve healing time? So with that in mind, let's go to our university databases and select the BC. I always start out at CINAHL because CINAHL is an EBSCO database, or is part of the EBSCO database, as is Medline, Academic Search Complete, and a couple of others. And you can search all of those databases at once. To do that, just choose your databases. And I always use Academic Search Complete because it covers a lot of journals. Medline's down here. We've already got CINAHL checked. And then I go down to Health Source Nursing Academic Edition. Down there. Those are the ones I typically search. And so what I put in the top, I start with my outcome. In this case, it's pressure injury. And I'm looking at silver dressings. Do they work? I'll see if silver dressings or silver containing dressings, see how that pulls up. And I've got 15 articles that range in time from 2014 to 2019. I'm not going to limit it right now. I want to see what's available. So antibiotic use and pressure injury infections. I'm not looking at infections in the pressure injury, so I'm not even going to bother looking at that one. Alginate dressings, that's probably something I need to look at because of my usual care. Okay, so I'll leave that one. That's a duplicate. That's interesting. It said results by a different person. Okay. Treatment of chronic wounds infected by silver dressings. They're looking at chronic wounds, not pressure injury specifically, but I will at least look at it and see what it says. And then continuing on down, there are management of chronic pressure ulcers, evidence-based analysis, that would be a good one. In fact, let's see if we've got a PDF of it. That's interesting. Never seen that come up before. Okay, Ontario Health, that's a new one. Okay, Ontario Health Technology Assessment Guidelines. Let me go back here. We're looking for 2009, Volume 9, Issue 3. Let's see if it's available. Management of chronic pressure ulcers. So this here looks to be a care management guideline, and just keep that in mind. Keep that pyramid of evidence-based, the evidence-based pyramid in mind, looking at it and where guidelines fall on it. I'm sorry, the internet's slow, so it's dragging this out longer than I would hope for. But prevention and management of pressure ulcers, it is from 2009, so it's a little bit older, but it doesn't look like we'll have a lot of information. So I'm just going to keep it out, and it'll take a bit of time to go through this, but it looks like it could have some good information. So anyway, we've got a few things to look at. I'm not going to look at them all. I'm specifically trying to find a reference list. So in the references here, need to look at them and see if there's anything that's important. There's a European Pressure Ulcer Advisory Panel from 2014. That would be good. Guidelines for Prevention and Management of Pressure Injuries from 2006. That would be good to pull those up to look at the evidence. Okay. The other thing we can do here is, notice I've only got pressure injury in here. I could do or and look at pressure sore or pressure ulcer, or even go so far as to say pressure injury or pressure sore, pressure ulcer, decubitus, that type of thing, and see if that makes any difference. Notice the 15 articles. And what I'm doing here is looking to refine my key terms. Now it brings it up to 128. Again, the alginate dressings that we saw, the antibiotic and antiseptics, the pressure ulcers, silver would fall under those headings. Now notice we've got some here that aren't English, so we need to change our language over here to English, which limits it down to 113. Okay. And since this goes way back to 1990, that's a lot further than I want to go. I think I'll change this to 2010 and have a 10-year gap. And let's narrow it to peer-reviewed journals. That's very important. Okay. And that brings us down to 76 articles to look through, which is quite quite manageable. Okay. So you can see how I did that. I did have to make some changes, broaden my terms a little bit, and that's the way to get the most articles. The other thing I do is, hang on here, we'll get rid of that, get rid of that, and this. Okay, I use Google a lot. I found lately that there are a lot of open access or journals that have been out in publication for a while that can now be found on through Google. And even if I can't access the full article, I have a journal title to try and look for specifically in our library. And if I can't find a PDF of it, I can always get the librarians to try and track it down for me. So what I did here was I actually entered part of my PICO question into the Google search bar. Do silver impregnated dressings improve pressure injury healing time? And it's resulted in quite a few articles. What you should know about using silver products in 2004. That's a little older than I want. Here's a scoping review of the use of silver impregnated dressings from 2018. Wounds International, appropriate use of silver dressings in wounds. And that's this particular one right here. Okay, and this is from 2012. So there are guidelines, and remember, guidelines do fall within the evidence-based hierarchy. And then there's down here, modern method of treatment, the role of silver dressings, silver in wound care, friend or foe, wound dressings, comparative effectiveness. You can look and see on these if there is any relationship to the PICO question on these, okay? So again, there's a lot of ways you can go about this. Here's Wounds UK. The big thing is, don't get so focused on the words, the concepts from your PICO question that you don't find appropriate articles, but at the same time, don't stray so far from your PICO question that you're not actually answering it. And use the references. Go down through your articles, even the ones that you decide don't really provide the information that you want. because you at least pulled it up and looked at it, go through the references and see if there's any, here's the appropriate use of silver dressings, again, the one that we came across. To see if there's anything in the references that can help you as well. And if you need to, based on the key words that you've had to use, you may need to actually rephrase your PICO question, and that's fine. PICO questions often get changed 2-3 times during the course of a review of the literature, state of the science. Okay, so I will stop here, and if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to me. Next week, I'll try and provide some more information on putting these articles into your literature review table, because once you've got your articles, putting them in the literature review table should be your next step. Thank you and have a wonderful day.